Morning, Third Stall friends. My name is Doug. This is going to be episode 14 about the resurrection of a 2010 Subaru Forester named Ruby. That's not Ruby. Ruby's over there in the garage. This is Party, the parts car. And I am sick and tired of Party taking a parking spot in the driveway. I'm sure the rest of my family and housemates are, and the neighbors. And today we're getting ready to send Party to the recycle center. So, borrowed a trailer. We're gonna try to winch it up onto the trailer, remove some final suspension parts, and get ready to send her to the recycler. Also update you on kind of a few projects going on. Hopefully I'm trying to wrap this project up in the next week because I work at a summer youth camp as the director there, and we'll be moving on site next weekend. And so videos are going to be a little bit fewer and farther in between until next fall, at which I really hope to dive back into the 66 Mustang project. So I'm going to be pulling this trailer around the driveway with my Volkswagen Passat. That's not how I'm going to pull it down the road, but that's the only vehicle I've got in the driveway right now with a hitch on it. So in case you wonder why in the world I'm using a car for that job, that's why. All right, let's get started and see if we can safely get this thing on and pull the remaining parts off of Party. Thanks for following along. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to post it below. Would love it if you'd subscribe or give me a thumbs up, and have a great day. In order to get the car up on the trailer, I'm going to try to use my electric hoist that I have hanging from my I-beam here in the garage. So I can simply unplug this, and I got a little bolt on the end which stops it from over traveling. Then I should be able to just take this down and use it to pull the car up on the trailer. In case you're wondering, this is an OSHA approved ladder that I'm standing on. It is a little on the heavy side. So I built these with loops on the trolleys so that I can hook a strap to them and set it on the tongue of the trailer and use the remote control and pull the car up on. In theory, it's the first time I've used it this way. We'll see how it works. So here's how I have it hooked up. The hoist is on the trailer. One difference between a hoist and a winch is a hoist will naturally break itself, so if I stop pulling, the car's not going to roll backwards, whereas a hoist might freewheel. A winch might freewheel. So then I've got just a strap going around the trailer, plugged into an extension cord, and I've got my little remote control, and let's try to hook it up to the car. All right, attempt number 2. I put a second strap on, not because I was too worried about strength, but the strap was sliding around the steel plate, and then the winch would crank sideways, and then all of the cable would spool up on one side. So we're gonna try it this way. Try number 2. Apparently that's more than the hoist was rated for. So I'm gonna let the cable out and put the snatch pulley on to double it up, and we'll see how that works. So far, so good. Success. Way to go, little beaver winch. Parts car is on the trailer, loaded up, ready to go. I have loaded into it the extra exhaust pieces, all of the random parts from the car, the old intake, some fenders from an old Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle project, all kinds of scrap steel I'd been saving. There's the old engine. You may ask why I am towing a, I don't know, maybe a 750-pound trailer with a couple thousand pounds of car parts on it with a Volkswagen Passat sedan with a 1,500-pound towing capacity. multiple choice question. Here are your options. 1, I'm not smart. 2, or A, I'm not smart. B, I put the hitch on myself and know it's bolted securely to the frame as opposed to just like the sheet metal under the spare tire. Or C, I know I only have literally like 3/8 of a mile to go to the scrapyard and I'm just gonna go slow. So I'm hoping the answer is B and C and not A, but we'll find out. Off to the scrapyard. Wish me luck. We're at the recycling center and it's time to get weighed. So we've got to button up a few projects on Ruby yet. I am chasing down a transmission oil leak, which I figured out is coming from one of these two hoses here. So in a little bit I will tackle that. And then my daughter and I are fixing, there's Ann, say hi. We are working on fixing some rust that was under the driver's side carpet. We had the driver's seat out, cleaned it really well, and then installed a Dorman seat heater kit in it. So we need to install the wiring harness for it yet. This will be the switch that turns the seat heater on and off. We'll mount that on the side of the seat, and we are going to power that off of the cigarette lighter, or the auxiliary power that's in the armrest. And then fast forward, there was quite a bit of rust underneath the driver's seat. And can you shine the light up in that area too? There's tarboard up there that we need to try to get up because I think water got trapped underneath that. So we're gonna scrape it all up the best we can, treat it with a rust reformer, then prime it and then paint it before we put the carpet back down. We also need to fix the gas door release, which is right there. Ann's holding it. It is rusted shut, and we do have the one off the parts car. I don't know if the cable is bad as well. If so, it's going to be a little bit of a bigger job, but now's our chance to fix that too. So we'll keep scraping and then treat it, and we'll show you what that looks like. About an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours later, here's where we are. Things are looking much cleaner and ground down and shot vac. We're gonna wipe it out with a solvent and then spray it with Rust-Oleum rust converter, then prime it and paint it and reassemble everything. Right here is the cable that feeds the release for the gas cap. Ours was completely rusted shut. Fortunately, this cable still works, so we don't need to run the new cable. We have one from the parts car, but we just got to put the new handle on here and it goes on with that 10mm bolt. So that was a big win for us because this cable goes all the way back underneath the seat, crossed up and over into the trunk, and then loops around through the rear quarter. And I'm thankful we don't need to replace that. So not perfect, but not a show car. This will slow down the rust and hopefully keep the car on the road for a good long time. We're going to clean it, treat it, and paint it. This is the bracket that mounted the subwoofer. This is the bracket that holds the floor mat in. And then we also have the bracket for the gas tank release. So they're sandblasted, primed, just Rust-Oleum primer. And I've got the same done here, coat of Rust-Oleum prime on it. It's a light gray primer, and it dried for about 15 minutes. And now I am starting with I have a can of brand new, never used, dark green Rust-Oleum paint. So we're gonna put probably 2-3 coats of Rust-Oleum paint on there just to protect it. You'll never see it, so it doesn't matter what color it is, and I had it on the shelf. All right, time to paint. So the wiring for the seat heater comes out from underneath this, right in the joint of the seat. And then we zip stripped the whole wiring harness, including the relay, here to the bottom of the seat. Should be out of the way of the sliding mechanisms and the motors and that. Then we will just need to run these 2 wires to a power, which does have an inline fuse. This is the armrest. It's upside down on my bench. And here's the ground and the positive for the cigarette lighter or the power outlet. So we're gonna tap into those 2. I'm 95% certain that this gets shut off with a key, which is what we want, so we don't leave the heated seat on. In order to tap into that, I took each of the wires and created a little splice in it so that these 2 ends will go into the wiring harness. So that'll plug into the wiring harness of the car. And then these 2 female ends will go directly onto the plug. So that should allow this to work the way it was intended, and then will allow me to tap these 2 wires to feed the seat heater. So it will look something like this, and then these 2 ends will plug into the female wiring harness receptacle. Hopefully you can picture that. Should work fine. I don't see it shorting out on anything. These will be exposed, but nothing really gets into this area. So I'm feeling okay about that. Hopefully that works well. While we are working on a couple other projects, I'm gonna start polishing this headlight. Kind of doesn't look too bad in the video, but it is incredibly faded and hazed. You can see this one is here too. That's dirt on the top. So we're going to try to clean that up. I'm going to start out with some wet dry 800 grit. This is the 800 grit. Then I'm going to go to 2000 grit, then to 3000, and then some polishing compound with a random orbital buffer. And I have a polishing compound. I'm not good at this. We did it on a car once before. I don't know what works great, but I've got some Meguiar's, some Mother's scratch remover, some turtle polishing compound. We'll just goop some on and polish it and see how it comes out. That was 1minute 45 seconds of sanding with 800 grit. The goal is to get rid of all of the yellow and get rid of the top layer of the plastic and then just have a solid sheen of 800 grit scratches, which basically cuts the top layer of the plastic off, but puts a ton of 800 grit scratches in it. Now we're going to sand down those scratches with 2000 grit, which will put a bazillion smaller scratches, and then we'll take that down with 3000 and then polish it, eventually to the point where it's so smooth your eyes don't catch the grooves. So we're going to keep going. All right, time for 2000 grit. You're going to need to watch this. It's going to be boring. All right, so I did the 800, 2000, 3000. Now I'm doing a little bit of the Meguiar's Ultimate Compound. I've done some, squeezed a little on there. I forgot to videotape it, but basically it's just doing this. Plug fell out. Did that for about, I don't know, probably not even 5 minutes. And then take a clean rag, wipe it off. And see how it looks. All right, so here is the fixed headlight. And here's the one that has not been done yet. Much better. Time to do the second one now. Carpet's going back in. You can see the green, but that will be covered up by the seat. Ian's putting the trim in. Seat will bolt in, plug into those. Center armrest goes in there, and this is the plug that will go into that pigtail for the power outlet. And then this is the aux input plug. Getting closer. All right, close to final day of working on Ruby. And she is, I'm gonna open the door in. Yeah. She is getting her final bath. The inside is all detailed and armoralled. Seats are scrubbed. And now it's time for license plate and final clean. And then she goes on the road. So I don't know if we've shown you this. This is the Subaru Forester that we are replacing. My daughter is an elementary school teacher, and knowing that the car was in an accident and was on its last leg with everything except the engine's solid. And then it got hit by a drunk driver one night, so it's got the wrong fender and missing a chunk of the bumper, and the doors are all dented. She bought a multicolored pack of paint pens and let her students have at. I love Miss Ann. And she put on the back artwork by the kindergarten, first and second grade learners at Bethel Community Education. Help out a young teacher. Venmo at Ann-Vanderwell. And she got $5 from a teacher. So this is Rue. Rue's gonna be sold eventually for the engine. The engine's in solid shape. It's had rebuilt heads and head gaskets put in, but the body is done. So this is the farewell trip of Ruby. Ruby is on the road. She's cleaned, polished, washed. Ann's excited. She loves the sunroof. Fired up, ran well. Threw a code for the knock sensor and the traction control and cruise. And what we learned is I never plugged in the knock sensor. Just simply missed that one. We got one spot of rust that we need to fix. Other than that, bon voyage. Love you, Ann.
Bye.
Enjoy your new car. There she goes. See you later, Ruby.